and she said that you really didn't do very many ugly factoring problems last year, so things that maybe had a negative on the first term. So if we just go straight into your slip and slide method with this, it will work, but we are going to have to do some extra factoring at the end because this first term is negative. So what I always have my students do is if it starts with a negative, pull out a negative before you do anything else. So if I just take out that negative, then it would be a positive 3y squared, a negative y, and a negative 2. Okay, so all those signs change just because we want that leading term to be a positive. Now you can do your slip and slide method to factor this. Does anyone want me to do a box method on any of these? I know if you did Algebra 2 and then Geometry last year, you've probably never seen slip and slide until right now. Because last year was the first year Mrs. Keller did that. So does anyone want me to do a box method? All right. If we do the slip and slide here, what do we have to do first? Yeah, we move the 3 back there. So it's y squared minus y minus 6. Okay, that negative that we pulled out is just going to trail along. It's not changing anything else in our problem. So, what multiplies to a negative 6 and adds to a negative 1?
Negative 3 plus 15.
Alright, but we aren't done. We moved that 3 over, so now we have to divide those by 3. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. You can't do 2 over 3, it doesn't reduce, so what do? The y goes in front of the y. So that is our final factor form.
Could we not distribute? Can we distribute the negative?
You can, but you would only take it into one of the parentheses.
Oh.
So you could take it into like the first one and make it a negative y plus 1. If you brought it into this one, negative 3y minus 2, but it doesn't go into both, just one. Because if you think about when you multiply, you multiply 2 numbers and you take that times the next one. So easier just to leave it out in front. All right. I'm going to put a few problems up. Why don't you try these and feel free to work with a partner or at least check your answers with a partner. I want to see how we're doing on that and if we are ready to move on or not. So on A, you have to bring your 3 over. So m squared plus 14m plus 24. What multiplies to 24 and adds to 14?
12 and 2.
So m plus 12, m plus 2. So we start out multiplying by 3, so then we have to divide by 3. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. You can't do 2 divided by 3, so you bring the 3 in front, so 3m plus 2. You guys get that one? B. So we start bringing the 9 over. All right, multiply to negative 18 and add to positive 4. So the only things that multiply to 18 would be 1 and 18, 2 and 9, 3 and 6. Does not work, so it is prime. Okay. C.
Take out 2.
Right. Remember, your slip and slide method does not work at all. It will give you a completely wrong answer if you don't take out your greatest common factor. So we can start here by taking out a 2a. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. We had 3 a's, we took out 1, so 6a squared. Okay. Now you have to break this down. So either your box method or your slip and slide method. So if we bring that 6 over, all right, so what would multiply to a negative 126 and add to a positive 5?
14 and negative 1.
Positive 14 and negative 9. Probably took you a minute to find those. That's okay. Bigger numbers takes a second.
Who's my first?
We're not done. We multiplied by 6, so we have to divide by 6. Okay. 14 over 6. What's that reduced to? 3 comes in front, so 3a plus 7. 9 over 6 reduces to 3 over 2, so the 2 comes in front, so 2a minus 3. Okay, questions? So far so good. We're continuing with factoring, but sometimes we encounter some uglier problems. So let's see if we can handle it. Let's take a look at this one. What do you always look for first? GCF, greatest common factor. Is there anything that goes into all of those? No. Okay, so then what?
Wait. Could you take an A out?
No, slip and slide.
Crap.
Why can't you take an A out?
Because there's
Not
not
A
any
in the
last
third
one.
term.
Yeah.
Come on.
Does this remind you of anything?
The third.
Yeah, it's kind of like a trinomial that we were just doing slip and slide with, right? The only difference is I threw another variable in here, but the process is the same. So we can treat this just like the problems we were doing. Okay, so if we want to do the slip and slide or box method, if you like that, you bring that 4 over. So 15 times 4 is 60. A squared breaks into A. What two numbers multiply to 60 and add to 16?
10 and 6.
Here's the only difference. What else do I need?
B.
A b. This had a b squared, so each of these terms gets a b. So this is the only way it's different than the other problems. You just have to throw extra variables in here. Okay? Don't forget to divide by 4. Alright, so 10 over 4, that reduces to 5 over 2. 6 over 4 reduces to 3 over 2. So we get 2a plus 5b and 2a plus 3b. What questions do you have here?
Oh, hey. It's still okay. Be sure.
Do we have a greatest common factor? No. So then what do we do? Second slide, or box method, whatever you like. So we bring over the 8. Don't worry about these variables, just keep them.
Dude. It's 1.5 today.
So 8 times 4 is 32.
32.
Okay. So if my first term was x squared y squared, what do I put in each of the parentheses?
X, Y.
Mhm. All right, multiply to 32 and add to 33.
32.
Then we started out multiplying the 8, so we need to divide by 8. So 32 divided by 8 is 4. 1 over 8 doesn't reduce, so you bring that 8 up in front, so you get 8xy plus 1. We mentioned it yesterday, but how would you check your answers? Just multiply it out. Okay. So far, so good? What if I gave you this one? How many terms do we have?
4.
Is there a greatest common factor? So 4 terms, that means we can't do slip and slide. Grouping. So remember in grouping, we try putting the first 2 together and the second 2 together. Okay. Then we want to factor each of those parentheses. So in the first one, what could you take out? Okay, so if we do that, what am I left with in that parenthesis?
X minus
So then the second parenthesis. 2x minus 8. Take out a 2 and you're left with,
X minus 4.
you know that grouping works if these parentheses match. Remember on that factoring assignment from yesterday, there was one, like problem number 4 or something, where you had 2 terms and they each had something in common and we had to pull that out. What do both of these have?
X minus 4.
So if I take out the x minus 4,
Squared y plus 2.
yeah, that's on our first one, we have x squared y plus 2. And if you wanted to check yourself, you just distribute, multiply that all back out, and you get where we started. So if you have 4 terms, your strategy is grouping. Let's try another one of those. there isn't something to be careful of on this one. We don't have a greatest common factor. We have 4 terms, that means grouping. If I do this, I am wrong.
You have to keep
Yep.
it negative.
Right. You cannot put a parenthesis after a negative or after a subtraction sign. What this subtraction means is just a -6. So change that to plus -6 and then add your parentheses. So never put that parenthesis after a subtraction. Change it to plus and negative first. Then in the first parenthesis, we can take out, each have a z and x to the second. So that leaves me with
3x minus 2.
All right, second one. Okay, if we take out a 2 and a p, that leaves me with -3x plus 2. Okay, do these match?
No.
No, grouping only works if they match, but there's an easy fix. Instead of taking out +2, let's take out -2. So if I make this a negative, then that would be a +3x minus 2, and then they match. So then we can factor out the 3x minus 2, and we're left with zx squared minus 2p. Good? Okay. So we're stopping here today. We'll pick up tomorrow with more factoring. Your assignment is the handout on Classroom. I want you to skip number 12. Alright, this handout is formatted a little bit differently. I made the assignment in Math Excel and just printed it because I haven't gotten you guys logged into there yet. But next week we will start doing those. So you have 20 minutes right now to work on those.